Welcome back to the video, guys. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. And welcome back to another chapter in the Tale of Two Phantoms. Yes, episode number 20, apparently, because it's taken so long to build these two things. You can kind of see them over here, at least one of them, this guy right there. Yeah, we're getting there. We are getting there. As you can see, maybe you can or maybe you can't, you can tell, putting a couple of missiles together on the missile pods. But that's not the focus today. Here is our Navy plane. This, of course, is the Academy kit. Spent a bunch of time over the last couple of days putting on all the decals, clear coating it. As you can see, this one's nice and shiny now. Let's switch this up. You guys get a nice view of this guy. It looks so cool. This the Jolly Rogers version really looks cool. The decals are really fantastic. These decals, of course, do not come in the Tamiya kit. I ordered these ones off of the interwebs, and yeah, and the decals are really nice and looks really cool, and it's going to look even better when I get the tail fin on there. Get that on there kind of like this, and you get an idea of what the whole thing's going to look like. Right? Looks pretty cool. So we are finally at a point where we can start doing some stuff to the underside of these two planes. So for today, I'm going to start with the Tamiya kit, and we're going to put some landing gear stuff on. So here's our Tamiya kit. Okay, so you guys saw in the last episode, this one's already been painted up and all the decals are on and she's ready to go. So flip, we're ready to start working on the underside. Now, the missile pods, I kind of just started putting the Sidewinder missiles on. I still got a couple to go. I haven't forgotten about you guys. I will show you guys how that all happens and all that takes place. I'm not going to leave that out. So don't worry about that. I just wanted to get them started. The other thing I wanted to start, of course, I've got to paint the canopies. The Tamiya kit comes with canopy masks, and that's really cool. But the Academy kit, you've got to mask and cut it and trim it all on your own. The other thing I have to do on the canopies, this is one of the Tamiya ones, they do have a seam line across the top on them, so they are quite visible, and definitely you can feel them. So I'm going to have to deal with those. I got to clean those up too. That's not going to be today though. Okay. I'm still debating whether or not to show you guys how to clean them up, because I've shown you before in previous videos. Click on the links, check out my stuff, hit that like, hit subscribe. You know the drill. Yeah. So anyway, so let's start on getting this done. I'm going to move my little delicate missiles out of the way here for now. Let's just put those over here, because I did just glue them maybe about 10 minutes ago. So let's just be careful. See, I still got another one to do on this side. So don't worry, we'll get there. And I got another one to do on this one. I saved one Tamiya one and one Academy one for you guys to see. So don't worry about that. I can put my little wing tips away. We're not dealing with those yet. So, what are we doing? Well, we're doing the Tamiya kit, of course. I skipped all ahead because I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But so I had to come back to like just after putting on the engines, which of course we haven't done. I'm going to wait till we're pretty much finished before I put the engines on. In any case, flip, and I got to check something here. What's going on? Let's see. So we have a bunch of pieces here. and I believe I've already taken them off the sprues. That's these guys here. Those are done, so we can put those on. So we got that one, and we got that one, but we need to install them straight up. So I'm going to change my glasses here so that I can see my instructions up close, and I'll change the camera for you here so you guys can see what I'm doing too. Okay, so it's these two pieces here. I'm going to deal with those, but I need a couple of anchor pieces here. We need what is the part number on that? P1 and P2. Okay, P1 and P2 off of our P tree. Let's find our P tree. P tree. These are double D's. Double D's are always very nice. There's P. P is looking kind of small. So, if we have the plane facing like this, I'm going to start with P2. Okay, there's P2. Might as well get P1 ready. P1. And that's it for our P tree. That's done. So P2. So there should be a little hole or a notch or something that P2 is going to go into. Looks like right there. This. Okay. And then this guy. Is it this one? I have to imagine if it was closed, what's it going to be? And that would be the right one. So basically, this is going to be the back wall. Right there. Let's get that off there for now. That's going to sit just like that. That makes life real simple. Let's put some glue on there. I'm actually really surprised. There's not even any you know, it just fits and sits there. Normally with these landing gear bay doors, you've got to worry about how the angle's going to work and how it's going to sit and set up and everything like that. These just go and fit in, and there's nothing to worry about. They just sit there. They just fit. Because they're actually integrated into the wall, there's no worry about it. Normally you got to look at it and make sure they're all angled, and you know, is that perfectly straight up and down, and does that one match? You know, don't have to worry about that at all with this. So that's pretty cool. And then this guy's just going to go in there. So I can already apply the glue. Put him in his little hole. And then line him up to his little spot on the door. Use some extra thin. And there we go. It's so easy. It's surprisingly easy. Which makes me think the Academy kit is not going to be this easy. Because there's not this level of engineering in the Academy kit. I don't think there's this... thanks, airplane. I don't think there's this level of engineering on Tamiya's 1/32 scale kit of the F-4D. Okay, so those doors are in. What's next? We've got these other little doors off of our B tree, B15 and 16. And do I have them already out here? I don't think I do. They're the little tiny ones. So where's our B tree? Let's see. There's our B tree. These two little doors here. They almost look like they've been forgotten. They almost look like they've been forgotten. We didn't forget about you guys. Okay. And that makes the B tree finished. Finished with our B tree. No more B. Bye-bye, B. Okay. Now these guys are going to go in these little notches. There's a little notch here and here. Little notches for them. And again, if you're not sure which one is which that are just taken off of the tree sprue, you can just kind of line them up. See, how would this fit if this was going to be closed? And that looks perfect. Obviously, not the same over on this side, so we're going this way. Boom. Again, little part of the wall, and that should, in theory, just fit right in there. Yes, perfect. Again, Tamiya's engineering to make this just sit right in there, because they've implemented the wall with it. It just sits and fits true with no worries. I hate that about this Tamiya glue thing. This little sealing gasket. Get in there. Stay. Sit him down in his little hole. Line up that wall. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. So, we've already dealt with some stuff up front here. We're not putting these on because this is not part of the plane. We're not putting the little hooks in here. We've filled in those holes, which means this little section is done. Now we already put those guys on here. They're back here and here. Okay. So this section is done. So we're going to move on. Boom. Now we're going to deal with our front landing gear. Now we've already done the front landing gear door. This one here. This is already assembled and finished. Okay. And we've already put on our little extensions of these little intake things here and here. Okay. So kind of a lot of this has already been done. Okay. I already put on this tiny little fin here. This is here. So these pieces are already installed because I had to put them on before painting. And so that's done, done, done. We're supposed to put in a couple of little pieces here. J1, I think they're clear. And they want them put in here and here. And they want our little door put on. So let's put our door on. So this does look kind of funny because it's got this big tab, right? This big tab here. But again, this is part of their engineering, making this so that there is a slot right in here. I'll show you. To get the angle right. You can see right here. See that little black rectangle? That's the little slot that that thing's going to fit in. And of course Tamiya's made that nice and big, so that's going to be a good firm hold inside there. It's going to be probably one of the sturdiest landing gear bay doors I've ever installed. I have test fit this already and it does go in, so in theory this will fit in a little better. There we go. Just like that. And she's on. And yeah, very, very firm. And yeah, she ain't moving. She's done. Okay. So that's that. So we're going to check out J1. I think J is a clear tree. Yes, it is. Hooked on a canopy. J number 1. These little guys here. So they want them chrome. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my Molotov liquid chrome. This guy's here. Okay. And put a little dab on, just on one side. It's kind of tricky because this is a refill, right? It's not the actual one that you buy that comes with the little tip. So it can be a little tricky to get only a little bit out. There we go. I think that's good enough. Okay. And I give that a little bit of time to dry. Okay. And in fact, I did get too much out on the one. So I'm going to just kind of just on the other side. It's fine. It actually painted the whole thing. Which kind of sucks. So I might as well do the whole thing on the other one. There. Okay, so they both got chrome on both sides. So now it's not going to matter which way I put them on. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. So that means we're going to wait for that. And so we'll come back. But that's the last part on this. Everything else is done. Okay, so just as a way to make sure we know this is done. Do this, we gotta do that yet. That's done, 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 done. Okay. Next page. Front landing gear installation. Okay, so let's grab our. What have I got stuck here? Oh, okay. So let's grab our Tamiya front landing gear. That would be this guy here. Okay, this is the Tamiya front landing gear. But we're not done. See, we already have this all assembled. This is all finished. Okay, so we got to grab our great big hydraulic shock, A19. So let's grab the A tree. There we go, A19. Now that looks a little too clean for me, so I need to dirty this up. Let's just put this here for now. This here. We gotta dirty these up, because that's just too clean. So as dirty as these planes are, suddenly we've got extremely clean shock absorbers. That's just wrong. Yes, the chrome should be clean. Sure, I agree with that. But the rest of the shock absorber, that should be dirty, greasy, just like the rest of the plane, especially underneath there. If you don't like it too dirty, you can always use some mineral spirits and clean it up a little bit better. I like them dirty. I like dirty shock absorbers on these planes. It shows that there's been hydraulic leaks, that they never really cleaned up 100%, all that kind of stuff. And just is more of a realistic kind of, hey, we need it to work, we don't care how pretty it is, right? So now we need A19. Okay. Clean up our funny looking nub mark. Alright. There we go. Let's bring our plane back. So I know that this is going to go in here, like that. Let's get that going. All the way down. Perfect. Okay. Grab our shock. It's going to go down. There's a little hole right here. Doink. And it's going to go up to that little peg on the landing gear. So this goes in the hole. And then it goes on that peg. Okay. There's a little bit of resistance. But that's okay. There we go. Right. Now I do found that is just a little bit too clean there. So it just looks, suddenly there's this bright white. So I want to do just a little. There we go. Alright. That means this part is done. Next is the other landing gear door, but we got to grab our R4 as well, because we have our door right here. Okay, we've got to grab R4 off the R tree. This guy here, he needs some dirtying up. All of his nice beautiful detail is going to get lost. If I just leave it in the pristine shape that he's in. Okay, R4. This is the piece that wound up breaking on me on the Academy kit, because the Academy had me put in this, it was integrated in part of the landing gear bay, and yeah, basically as soon as I put that thing on its belly, it broke. So I was not very impressed with that. I am, however, impressed with the fact I still have it. It's right there. Okay, R4 needs to go down onto a little rod of some sort in the middle. They do show an overhead view of it right here. This, however, has another tab just like the front one did. This has a tab here. It's going to go into that slot right there, and it's going to line up just like that and hold it in place. It's freaking awesome that Tamiya has done that with these, to just exactly align them perfectly where you need them to go, and they don't move. Like, really, thank you, Tamiya. That is freaking awesome. And so now I can see where this is supposed to go. So that's this little kind of a hook thing at the bottom here. Good morning. It's been a while since I've washed. I've always slept through Saturday builds. Well, that's okay. Everyone needs their sleep, right? That's the main thing. Not a problem. So we got an extra little niblet to get rid of there. So this guy is going to go in such a way like this, and it looks like there is a little spot right down in the middle where that's going to connect. I'll have to angle this towards me so I can see what I'm doing. It's going to go down right in there. Of course, I'm left-handed, so let's turn this around. Okay, turn this way, and it's going to go down right in here. And line up just like that, okay? So let's get some glue on the bottom of that. Put her down in her little hole there. And again, it's lining up absolutely perfect. I am really finding it hard to complain about anything on this Tamiya kit. The fit is just so fantastic on everything, and it's all lining up. and it's really great, and it's all perfect. Beautiful. Okay. And that is literally that for this section. Finished. This front nose cone. Okay, we can put our nose cone on. Nose cone has been sitting over here for quite some time. It is quite a tight fit, but it fits perfectly. So let's put a little bit of glue on the inside where it's going to touching. Not too much. You don't want glue squeezing out. The main thing is where it's going to be in contact everywhere. And of course, put that glue on there and now it slides on perfect. A little bit extra pressure just to make sure it's all the way. There we go. And of course, everything lines up perfectly. There we go. Nose cone is on. Done. Okay. I moved into a new place and have a third room that I want to designate to model building. But I haven't done work on a model since I moved in because I'm delaying making the room feel like a model builder's room. Everything accessible, but my building stuff is still sitting in boxes. Well, that's pretty cool. I would love to have a room dedicated to building models. That would be pretty cool. Maybe in my future, but I don't have that today. Okay. So, next is landing gear. Well, we have these already assembled. These are already done. Okay. So let's mark that off. Done. The left is done. The right is done. Our little air exhaust outlet, that's already installed, right here. Okay, that's already done. So we're going to attach our main landing gear now. Now we've already done this part, that's done. Okay, so it's just the actual landing gear pieces. So what do we need? Well, obviously we need our actual landing gear. Here's one and here's the other. Okay, and then but we need some, again, hydraulics. We need A17 times 2. Off of our A tree, A17 times 2, these two guys here. A17 times 2, there's 1. And 2. Okay. Let's clean these up. Panel lines are crisp. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a product of this stuff, AK Interactive Panel Liner. That stuff really does a fantastic job for making your panel lines look the way you want them to. Because it doesn't really pull out of the panel lines like the Tamiya stuff likes to. Okay, so we're gonna put, this is gonna be for this side, so because this one's closer to me right now, I'll put this one in first. Okay, just a big slot, square peg going in a square hole. It's tight, probably because, well, there's lots of paint in there. So let's just make sure it's nice and clean. In that hole, I can see there's a little bit of a goober in there. Let's just make sure this one's clean too while I'm at it. Now they are on a bit of an angle. Okay, so if you're expecting the wheel, when you look at these things, they kind of look a little bit funny. It's almost like it shouldn't go in. Now, it is a bit tight, so I'm going to get a little, because of you, I own several kinds. Last time I tried panel lining was on a Star Wars X-Wing, and I think I used Tamiya. Yeah, I use Tamiya a lot. I use this stuff here, the Tamiya panel liner. I've got the black and the gray and the brown, and yeah, I do use them a lot. But for different things and different reasons, I'll use the AK. Like I just like the AK when I want to do a whole like wing, a top of a wing or a bottom of a wing, like the whole thing, just to get those panel lines. I like the AK stuff for this kind of reason, because you do it and it just fills in and it stays there when you wipe it away. The Tamiya, you really got to be a lot more careful with it when you, because it will easily just pull right out of the panel line. Okay, put some glue on that, and we'll see how she fits. It's tight, but there you go. She's in. All right. Okay, so next is our shock. A17 is going to go where? Where does it go? Going to be a hole on the front edge that it's supposed to go, or maybe a slot. It's going to be a little bit of, where does it go? Where's it going to fit? Going to go onto the front of the wheel. Looks like it's going to tuck into the camo on the top. Looks amazing. Ah, thank you. So it's going to tuck in here. Do that, there's not really any spot. It doesn't look like it's going where it's supposed to. Trying to figure out where this goes. And it literally just fell into the spot it's supposed to be. That's hilarious. It literally just fell into the little spot it's supposed to be in. That's cool. Okay, well now I know exactly where it's supposed to go. Thank you, Lord. Alright, glue on this side, glue on this side. And now I gotta get it at the right angle for it to go back in. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. So there's one side. Turn this around so you can see. There you go. That guy right there. Okay. Oops. Oh. It always sounds bad. You hear that crack sound, you know the glue is broken loose. It always feels like, oh no, what did I just break? So all I'm doing is I'm just kind of taking off a little bit of the paint on the corners of this thing, just to help it get into its little hole a little easier. Because, you know, the 3 or 4 layers of white paint to get this thing to be the color that I want. I am running out of glue here. It's going to be after these are done, it's going to be time to head to the hobby store and buy some more glue. Once again, get that down perfectly in there as far as it's supposed to be. There we go. We have our next shock oriented the way it's supposed to go. Because of course it's the other side. Cooperate with me here. There. That's where you're supposed to go. Just like that. And that side's done. Okay. And of course, I had glue on my finger and I had my finger on the top here. So now I've got a little bit of a fingerprint. That really sucks. That's okay. I'll get that with a little bit of weathering and I can hide that. Okay. This is done. Finished. Done. Flip the page. We've already got all our fins done and all that stuff. That's all finished. And we already have them installed, obviously, because they are on there. And same with our control surfaces, or flapperons that they call them. That's all done. So now, air brakes. They are already assembled, and they are right here. 1 and 2. Red on the inside, of course, because it's a Phantom, and that's what they are. Got that done. We need to install them. And to install them, we're going to need A15 and 16 are the shocks for those guys. And they're going to go in there like that. Okay? So, let's grab those. A15 and 16. Our final two little shocks here. Now, A15, let's turn this plane around. Okay? So we have it oriented in the way that they do in the instructions. Now, 15 is going to go on this side and 16 goes on that side. There's my nippers. There we go. I hate to be a homer, but as an aircraft lover, I have always actually enjoyed the sounds of them taking off in the background. Oh, really? Yeah. That's something you kind of get used to. Of course, here where I live, you know, while I'm trying to do this, of course, I guess if you love that sound, then you'll appreciate the fact that I have my window open all the time. And that's why they are so much louder. Because my room here gets very hot, especially during the summertime. So my window is basically open constantly. And that's why you hear them so much. Okay, so the base is going to go in here like that. And there is a little tab that's going to go into a little hole there. So I'm assuming that's just going to get lined up and position it perfectly. Now my glue kind of sucks. I almost have to close the lid to get it to dip in there. So let's go that route and glue that in first. Like that. almost lined up perfect, not quite. There we go. Just to make sure it's glued properly. There we go. One air brake installed. I do appreciate it. It reminds me of Top Gun. I don't know why, but it's comforting. Maybe I picture the plane you're building and it's taking off. Yeah, maybe. Alright, so there's one installed. Okay. Let's get the other side in. Let's find my other air brake right there. Here we go. Just for good measure, make sure it's glued in good. There we go. Our air brakes are installed. All right. What can you tell me about the history of the F4 Phantom? The history? Well, I know they were originally designed in the late 60s, but their biggest role, of course, was in the Vietnam War. They saw the most usage through that era in the mid to late 70s. Yeah, they were one of the most iconic planes in that era. I believe they were a lot superior to the Russian MiGs in that time. And yeah, the other thing that was really unique about the F4 Phantom is they didn't have a gun. There's no gun pod on them at all. And later on, in later years, they implemented a gun pod that mounted underneath that looked like a center fuel tank, but it was really just a gun pod. But it was totally an afterthought. That's about really all I know about them. Oh, a Sabre for the Korean War, yeah. Okay, so our air brakes are in, so now we've got missile pods. And we already know I'm started working on those. But before we start doing the missiles, I want to let this all nice and dry and set up and cure and all that good stuff. So we're going to take our Tamiya kit, which is of course the Korean plane. We're going to take this and we're going to put this aside for a moment or for a while, however long it takes. She's going to sit like that, and we are going to grab the Academy kit and we're going to work on its undercarriage. Okay, so let's put the Tamiya instructions aside and we're going to grab our Academy instructions. So let's flip this guy over and check out his belly. Now, of course, the Academy kit, we had our our main gear already installed a long time ago when we were assembling the wings. Thank you. Yeah, this is the Jolly Rogers version. This is our Navy one, right? We're going to go with the Navy. Upside down Navy. Okay, so on our instructions, we already have our fins already done. Well, not really, but yes, got our tail fins done. All that part's finished. Okay, we've got our flaperons installed. Our wing tips will be installed at the end because they're going to be in the up position, so I'm not bothering with those. So this is what we're focusing on here. Another plane taking off while I'm talking. So let's start with our little air doors. This is going to be obviously a little bit more complicated than the Tamiya kit because all we have is our two tiny little doors. I've been wanting to do a Jolly Rogers version of the F-14. Yeah. I did one of those a long time ago, long before I started streaming. I built an F-14 in the Jolly Rogers. I still have it sitting on a shelf. Yeah, so I have done it. I want to do one in an F-18 also. Yeah, it's this guy. I don't know where my background music went. What's going on here? Oh, you were wondering about that, were you? Yeah. So I'm going to scrape off some of this red paint just so that the glue will stick a little better. Because I really am not 100% confident on how this is going to stick on the inside under here, because that's all that's going to hold it on is these two little tabs holding these up like this. Sorry, I had it backwards, like this, right? So that's all that's going to be holding it on. And in fact, I'm scraping on the wrong side. It's going to be on the underside here. So paint on the underside of this. Okay. Again, not too much glue, but enough. Enough to put it everywhere when I drop the part. And like I've mentioned before, there's nothing on the inside of this plane to really hold these in. It's literally going to be just those two little pieces. And of course, glue. And that's it. It's kind of, yeah, it's iffy. I don't like this about that kit. That one little leg is set to hold the door in the underside. This piece here is just the little shock absorber, the little shock, hydraulic shock that actuates the door, and it doesn't actually attach to anything on the inside. Now this is actually a Academy kit. Right there, it's the Academy kit. And Academy didn't really do I don't know. I don't want to put them down because Academy has some good things going on with them as far as the detail. It's just some of the implementation of how these things go together is not the best. So I've got to hold it while the glue sets. Okay, so now this is the biggest difference between this one and the Tamiya kit. The Tamiya kit is a one piece that just sits down in there and there's nothing to align, nothing to line up at all. But this one, of course, you're on your own when it comes to lining these up. Anyway, glue seems to be holding, so that seems to be good, and I'm happy with them the way they're sitting now. Looks alright, they're not bad. Okay, so that's them. This one is crooked. Okay, so that's those. It's just inevitability. Yeah, that's right, that's true. Okay, so let's deal with our front landing gear. Let's get this all done. Okay, so we have our front gear piece that's already assembled, and we have our door. Okay, our front door anyway, leading door, whatever. We have a couple of little bits to put in up here, but our door is done. So our door is actually, we've got two little tabs. So where the difference with the Tamiya was one big flat piece to get that in there. This, of course, is these two little elbows like this to get that in there. And there's two little holes in the front of that to get this lined up. So we're going to do a little test fit before I put glue on it. And it looks like it's going to line up and we'll be okay. So that's good. So let's put some glue on that. Of course, with some glue on there, they line up perfect and they slide in very nicely. We have our main gear door, one tiny little peg to fit in that big slot, and it's going to go like that. Okay, it's a little bit of a loose fit, especially compared to the Tamiya. It's the same plane but two different kits. Pretty much the difference is the Tamiya kit is an F-4B and the Academy kit is an F-4D. And of course there's not much difference between the two planes. The difference is very subtle. You know, I test fit this before and it fit fine. Now it doesn't want to fit in the hole at all. Of course, now that there's glue on everything, it doesn't want to fit. the little stub they've put on this is not enough to actually go down into the hole, where these two little things line up on two little guides on the sides. It's just going to sit on these guides and not actually go into the hole, and that's okay, I guess. That's just where it's going to sit. And I have to re-glue these. Very slow fail going on here. I'll have to hold this like that. Make sure these are in properly. Quite the challenge on this kit compared to the Tamiya. But that's all right. Sometimes that's the way it is. Okay, so that's in. That's our front gear. This plane will be ready to go on his wheels soon. Okay, so I do want to hold it like that just until the glue sets. So I'm going to hold it like this for a minute while I look at the next deal. So we've got to get our rear door here. That's got to go in with its little shock absorber. Okay, so let me just put this down like this for a moment. Come on. There. Let's find our pieces here. Where is our front landing gear? Okay, here's our main door. I absolutely love the dirty look. Yeah, thanks. Well, that was the thing, right? These Phantoms were really, they got really dirty on the underside, right? That's just nature of the beast for these planes for some reason. They were really, really dirty. Dirty birds is what they were. Very dirty birds. F-28 is the shock absorber for this guy. And that's this piece right here. I just realized I didn't do the chrome. I haven't painted these yet with my chrome paint. So, that's a bad one on me. So while this is drying, we're going to do a little chrome painting. Let's get this out of my way here for a moment. Let that dry. Close up my glue. Because I need to paint. I need to put some chrome paint on these hydraulics. So what I like to do, since this is just a refill and it doesn't have the actual thing, oh yeah, you got a white plane, then that's what's gonna happen. But you got a brown green camo, and that looks the same going out as it coming in. Yeah, pretty much, right? Okay, let's go. brush here. This stuff likes to go on thick. If you try and do a thin coat, it really dries out or dulls out on you. If you do a thick coat, it stays super shiny and beautifully chrome. The moment you try and make it light, it just dulls up on you. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to look for my other shocks on this sprue. There's more here. It does look really beautiful. It stays very chrome looking. As long as you leave it thick. I think that's it. Hold on, there's another one here. Missed this one. I think those are the only ones left. I think that's it. Yeah. That's it. So, those can dry, and I'm going to clean up my brush. And I'm going to wipe this off. Good old lacquer thinner will clean that. Let's see. That's why UPS in the 1920s made their trucks brown, so they wouldn't show dirt. Is that really the real reason why UPS trucks are brown? Was UPS really around since 1920s? They've been around that long? Wow. I did not know that. I gone learned something today. Okay, so this is probably good enough. I can put that on there. And I just realized I got no dirt on the other side of this door. That needs to get a little dirty. Just a little bit. So I'm actually going to cheat and use a bit of a Q-tip here. Dip it in there and just do that. That's really cheating, okay? Really just cheating, because I'm going to wipe most of it away. Now if you don't like the look of it, okay, that looks like crap, right? You can see all the streaks. So we're going to grab some of this mineral spirits and clean it up a bit. See how it cleans it up? It's beautiful. Okay. But I don't want this door perfectly white. That was just wrong. Just wrong, having it perfectly white. But now at least it's got a little bit of grunge on there. They rivaled the Postal Service. Wow. Okay. Okay. Now we get a little bit of grunge on there. In similarity to the Tamiya kit, we've got a couple of alignment points. The Tamiya kit obviously was a lot more secure and sturdy in how it's going in there. But this one, they tried to do something similar. We got a couple of holes here and here for these two little pegs to go in, and that should align it good enough. Okay, and I'm going to turn this stuff off. That's enough of that. Because I'm going to have to get going here in a few minutes. So I've got enough time to get this door on, and then I'm going to have to call it a day. So let's get this in its home. Just like that. Now, of course, these don't doesn't hold it as good as the Tamiya kit, so I'm going to do this. It's a bit of a looser fit. Than the Tamiya kit. Now, our shock absorber. I keep calling it a shock absorber, but it's not. It's a hydraulic shock. It's supposed to go to this tab on the front gear, which you can't see. Where am I here? It's supposed to go to the tab right there and then go down to what looks like is going to be a tiny little hole. But it doesn't look like there's really much of a hole at all. So I am going to clip this little tab off, so at least I can have a flush fit. And that way, wherever it may line up is where it's going to go. Okay. So it may not be accurate as far as exactly where it's supposed to go in the actual bay, but see, now I got this door on. It's a pain in the ass to try and get in there. Let's take this off, stupid door. It's another gripe I have about this particular kit in comparison to the Tamiya is the Tamiya kit gives you very clear instructions as to which pieces to install first, and the Academy kit does not. And this is case in point. And in fact, now that that's in, it's blocking the hole for the door, for this door to go in. Like, it's just ridiculous. I have to back it off. Put this door back in. If I can. And now put the shock back. Which is now actually touching the door and impeded by the door a little bit. It's really not the best. I guess I've been a little spoiled by the Tamiya engineers doing their kit so well and getting it together and getting it to fit proper, that, you know, this Academy kit is not going together perfectly, and it's a bit of a pain. But anyway, we got that in. So the next thing, see, this little piece here was supposed to go, I've got the little rod that's supposed to go there, like on the Tamiya kit. Now I have the little rod that broke off, and it's right here. Okay, so it's supposed to go on there, and I need to put some glue on that and try and get that done. So we'll put some glue on the bottom here. And try and get this guy lined up in such a way got it pretty much lined up good enough. I think I got it. There we go. You hate such small wheel assembly strut stuff. Yeah, it's it can be a challenge, that's for sure. I mean, the Tamiya one, yeah, it looked like it was going to be a challenge, but then it lined up perfectly and everything was great. This stuff, their Academy has chosen to give you a hard time and give you a big challenge to get all these little tiny pieces lined up, where Tamiya just had it already done for you. So that's one big improvement. I would say the Tamiya kit is definitely an easier kit to assemble over the Academy kit. And the fitment of the Tamiya is definitely better. Definitely, for sure. Okay, but this is where I am going to have to end it here for today. We're obviously not done, and still have a lot more to do on this guy. But I need to let this glue all set up before I can really play around with it. And yeah, so obviously our little bay doors and stuff are going to be a little bit more of a challenge than on the Tamiya kit, just simply because they don't fit in. They're not part of the landing gear bay walls like they are on the Tamiya kit. The Tamiya kit's really just engineered. It's really yeah, if you want something that's going to go together and be really easy to fit, to put together, go with the Tamiya. The Academy one is a challenge for sure. Yeah, it does look good, and at the end of the day, it's looking really good. But you're going to have to fill in some extra big panel lines, and where it goes together, you're going to have to put some putty in there and all that kind of stuff to get it to have the same kind of quality look that the Tamiya one has. So yeah, but at the on the other end of the spectrum, when you look at the tail fins, Academy's done a really good job at doing the panel lines and the rivet detail on the back end of this plane. Very highly detailed, more so than the Tamiya kit. So yeah, yeah, Tamiya is nicer. I know you love a challenge. That's why we do models. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So I'm gonna set this aside. It's got to be not touched for a little while. Let that glue settle and cure. And yeah, our Tamiya kit probably she can finally be on her wheels. Finally, that's the first time. And of course, she sits nice and level and straight. Yeah, it's a Tamiya kit, right? Everything goes together. Happy day to you. Thanks for sharing, and as always, I learned something, so thank you. Glad I caught your stream. Well, I'm glad you came out. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, we're looking good. I can finally start seeing the end of the light at the end of the tunnel with these. We're getting there. We're almost there. There's not much to do after this. Once I get the landing gear on, then it's going to be missiles. I've got to paint the canopies, and like I mentioned before, I've got to take care of these mold lines on the very top of the canopies that are really they're going to be noticeable, and I don't want to be seeing these little lines through there. So I'm going to have to scrape them, buff them, all that stuff, polish them up, get rid of those lines. I'm not sure if the Academy kit has them. No, the Academy kits are clean. There's no line there on the Academy ones. Only on the Tamiya. Oh, I stand corrected. I can feel a very tiny little seam line through the top of the Academy one. So I'll have to do those too. It's just not nearly as noticeable as on the Tamiya. So there's one thing Academy has over the Tamiya. When are you continuing? I am going to try and continue another time tomorrow. I have all week off of work this week. I'm going to try and bust these things out and get them finished this week. So my plan is to do a stream every day this week. Whether life gets in the way of that, I don't know, but that's my plan. My plan is every morning this week I'm going to try and get these Phantoms finished, and then I'll have 2 finished Phantoms finally. Yes. Okay, that's where I'm going to end it for today, guys. And yeah, thanks, Piper. Thanks for the chat. It was nice talking to you. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. And yeah, we'll see you all in the next one.